when the players look back on their time playing for me, or when I die or whatever, I want them to remember that I gave them everything I had.
Tell us about these knees of yours.
Well, the right knee was replaced in May 27th of 2016, and then this left one is going to be replaced December 2nd of this year, because it's just so hard to walk and do the things that I want to do. Where we're going to walk today, Clint Gwaltney and I walk a lot because it's flat and we can just go up and down the rows in the parking lot. And the other reason I like to walk down there is because everybody says it's so boring that they don't see how I could do that. And I say I'm a lot tougher mentally than they are. But we walk a good bit faster than we're doing here. We don't want to kill any camera people right now. But
Clint, how'd you get roped into these?
Well, I actually was 2008 in the fall, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. They told me I needed to exercise. And Joe says, hey, Coach, is it all right if Clint starts walking with us? That was 2008, and we've walked pretty much every day since.
What's Coach like to work with?
That's a loaded question on camera.
Right.
Well, he's retired now, so it's fair game.
It's fair game. No, he's great to work with, and the best thing is he'll shoot you straight. You know exactly where you stand. Very honest, very straightforward guy.
So what's the hardest part of working with him?
I had to become a really good photographer. I can't tell you how many times we get stopped on these walks and asking, can they take a photo with Coach? Once
every 6 months or so, a car will go by and they'll, Coach Smith! You know, Coach Smith quit coaching 24 years ago, but I take it as a very flattering thing, and but about once every 6 months, so that happens too.
Tell about where we are right now.
Okay, this is downtown Chapel Hill. This is Franklin Street, and this is the only place in the world when I was a student here and afterwards that I really enjoy walking downtown. Sutton's Drugstore. John Woodard used to be the owner, and he was a calendar customer of mine, so he became a very close friend, and just a great place, pictures and jerseys everywhere. Jeopardy, the program TV, there was a question, the answer was Sutton's Drugstore, and so this is a pretty famous place.
You want to go in?
Yeah, let's go get something. How we doing, guys? Hello, how are you doing? How are we doing? It's pretty good when the owner brings you your food.
I know. Explain to me a little bit about your diet.
There is no such thing. I love meat and potatoes. I don't eat very many vegetables, so I try to eat a salad almost at least one every day. And dessert. That's big on my list. A lot of times during the season particularly, get in the office really early and have a pack of Famous Amos cookies for breakfast, and then walk at lunch.
Come on,
no,
really?
I'm serious, yeah. And then walk at lunch.
Still this day?
Oh yeah, yeah. And this morning I had a piece of pecan pie. That's what I do the exercise for. It's not to stay healthy or look good. It's my exercise so I can eat what I want to eat.
You were telling me a little of this off camera. The Coca-Colas.
It's always been my favorite drink. 97, 98, I had to go to the Mayo Clinic because the people in Kansas were worried about some things. And the doctor got me to complete this chart, and he goes down and he went, ooh, and that's not a good sign. But it said soft drinks, and I said 8 to 10 Coca-Cola Classics a day for 30 years. The next day I stopped drinking Coca-Cola Classic, and now I'm Diet Sprite.
The superstitions. If you wear a tie for the first time and you lose, what happens?
I don't wear it again. If we have a big win, I remember it. I remember all the outfits I wore when we won the 3 national championships. And late in my career, when I thought I was getting old, I would actually put a card in the inside coat pocket of the coat, lost to Georgia Tech, lost at Iowa. So I'd peel it out. Nope, not wearing that one tonight.
Then there's the Mississippi River.
Again, something very simple. We're in New Orleans in 1982, and a guy downstairs in the hotel said, Coach, you better go spit in the Mississippi. He said, that's good luck. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. So I did. we won the first game, and everybody was laughing at me, and then the morning of the national championship game against Georgetown, when I went down there, there was like 10, 12 people down there waiting on me, and so they went with me, but they laughed the first time.
You know, we talked a little bit about Coach Smith. What would you say you most learned from him in terms of like valuable lessons that were beyond kind of X's and O's?
Well, the biggest thing was his organizational skills. When we went out on the court, there was nothing that the other team could do that we weren't prepared for. And that's the reason I'm blamed a lot or criticized a lot or joked about a lot, because I called very few timeouts. And the biggest reason, I said, why should I call a timeout? It's what we practice for.
What about just in terms of like teaching players lessons and how to be better men?
When the players look back on their time playing for me or when I die or whatever, I want them to remember that I gave them everything I had, with my knowledge, with my time, with the experience, that I tried to prepare them in every way for the game, but also for life. And so many of the players have talked in terms of me being a second father, and that's a great compliment, and it's a compliment that means something to me, and it's a role that I take very seriously. We're on the east side of campus now. If we continued on this road, you'd go to Durham, and so we don't continue on that road very often. But once a year is what I can do that.
When you were a student here, where did you like to hang out?
The gym.
Okay.
That was it.
Because if you weren't in the gym, you were working.
I was working. I feel that the university's been great to me and to Wanda. You know, I would coach if they didn't pay me or not. I'm glad they did, you know, that kind of thing.
I mean, you donated a few $1 million not too long ago. Why did you want to do that?
When the pandemic hit and they canceled everybody's seasons, you know, in the spring, and I thought how crushed I would have been if that had been me. And then the NCAA made the rule that you could get that scholarship to come back again the following year. And we were worried because we were in not greatest shape in the world financially, and worried if we could handle that expense. And so Wanda and I talked, and we called the AD and told him we would pay for it, and then we gave $3.5 million more just for things that we wanted to support and be involved with. But to go see our field hockey girls, or our women's soccer team and people like that, and for them to come up and tell Wanda that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to come back for my senior year if it hadn't been for you guys. And she's got tears in her eyes, and that's about as neat as it gets. This is cemetery. Coach Smith is buried on the other end of the cemetery up there.
Is this where you would one day want to be buried?
I don't know. You know, we've done very little talking about something like that. We have talked about what the plan is going to be, but we haven't made any decisions yet. I hope to have several conversations about it, which means I'll live longer. Back parking lot at Smith Center, that's us. When Coach Smith retired, this was his parking spot. And when I came back, I told him to leave the reserved at all times, and I took the one over there, the first one over there. And so when I retired, I told him that I wanted this spot. And you can see what I had put up there, reserved at all times, RW and DES, that's Coach Smith, because I told everybody if Coach Smith beats me here, he can have the spot too.